Hey, Orlando here, and this is assignment 4 from the Introduction to Music Production by Coursera. And I'm going to talk about the concept behind dynamic processors, and we'll describe 4 parameters integral to most all dynamic processors: threshold, ratio, attack, and release. Now, simply put, dynamic processors alter an audio signal based on frequency, content, and amplitude level. There's many types of dynamic processors: compressors, limiters, gates, expanders, and so on, but they all do basically the same thing. They automatically control the volume or the dynamics of sound, just as if you had your hand on the volume fader. They manipulate a signal in real time to provide the best possible sound to the listener. So let's talk about threshold and ratio to start off. Signals above a threshold level will be reduced by an amount that is specified by the ratio. Ratio is the ratio of the input signal to the output signal. Now, in this visual here, I just want to show you what that might look like. The threshold levels shown by the red line. I can show the output, but it's a little easier to see what's happening by showing you the gain reduction, which is shown by this orange line. And the gray line here, that's the signal coming into the compressor. So currently, when I bring the threshold down below the peaks of the input signal, you can see there's no gain reduction because the ratio is currently set 1:1. That means that the input signal and the output signal are the same, 1 dB in, 1 dB out. If I increase this to, let's say, 30, that means that a signal 30 dB above the threshold will be output at only 1 dB above the threshold. So the compressor is basically taking the signals above the threshold and making them quieter, which in turn allows you to turn up the output gain eventually, and that has the effect of making the quieter sounds louder. Now, attack defines the time it takes for the compressor to reach maximum compression once a signal exceeds a threshold. At a very low time value for attack, the compressor almost instantaneously reduces the gain when the signal exceeds a threshold. And at a very high attack value, by the time the compressor is allowed to reduce the gain, the signal can fall back below the threshold, and the result is little or no gain. So we would want to bring that attack level down to a more reasonable number. Release sets how long it takes for the compressor to get back to normal after the signal falls back below the threshold. With release set to a very low number, the compressor must react very quickly to go back to normal operation when the signal gets back below the threshold. When the release time is increased, gain reductions can be kept in place so long that there actually may not be enough time to get back to normal operation before the signal once again exceeds the threshold. So the result can be kind of an almost fixed amount of gain reduction and a loss of quality on the high end. So we would probably want to bring that back down to something a little different. Now, there's many more adjustments that can be made with dynamic processors, but this assignment just looked at 4: threshold, ratio, attack, and release. Let's take a quick listen to see what it sounds like when you put a compressor in place and what it might do when you turn it off. This is the compressor operating at a ratio of 30:1. Compressor off. A significant difference. Well, thank you very much for listening, and I hope this helped you to understand dynamic processors and the parameters of threshold, ratio, attack, and release.